Get ready to dive into the wild world of mutants where things get absurd. Brace yourself, my fellow nerds, for a list that'll make your skin crawl and your stomach churn. We're about to explore the 12 most bizarre mutants that'll either give you the creeps or leave you completely disgusted. These superpowered freaks aren't your run-of-the-mill heroes or villains. No, these folks take weird to a whole new level. So, buckle up, keep your barf bag handy, and prepare to simultaneously be fascinated and repulsed by these extraordinary yet bizarre creatures. Let the mutant madness begin. Before we get into our exploration, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Maggot. Behold the twisted tale of Japheth, a mutant whose life took a stomach-churning turn. Born into a family of 5 siblings, poor Japheth didn't quite hit the growth spurt like his brothers. Instead, he suffered from extreme stomach pains that demanded a special diet. Doctors misdiagnosed him with cancer, and not wanting to burden his family with medical expenses, the young lad decided to end his own life. But fate had other plans for Japheth. He drives the family Jeep out into the Kalahari Desert to die, but Magneto, the mutant mastermind, stumbles upon the boy and senses something peculiar. It turns out, Japheth's digestive system was a freakish duo of slug-like creatures dwelling within him. He would eventually name the slugs Eenie and Meanie. And yeah, I know, it's as bizarre as it sounds. Magneto extracted the slugs, relieving Japheth's misery. However, when they returned home, they discovered that Japheth's father had met a tragic end at the hands of rebel fighters known as the Afrikaners. Seeking revenge, Magneto and Japheth set out to bring justice to his fallen father, but Japheth refused to join Magneto's cause. Magneto left a cryptic message claiming Japheth would eventually come around, but Japheth, or Maggot, the new name that he adopted, had other problems to deal with. His slugs, Eenie and Meanie, had become a real pain in the gut, quite literally. These starving creatures had to crawl their way in and out of his stomach, causing him unimaginable agony. Now, let's talk powers. Maggot has quite a unique set of skills. His digestive system, aka Eenie and Meanie, is sentient and sluggy. These squirming critters have an insatiable appetite, capable of devouring anything at lightning speed. When they're done feasting, they return to Maggot's abdomen and transfer the energy from their meal directly into his body. This unusual snack time grants him temporary boosts in strength, durability, and a lovely shade of blue skin, but it doesn't end there. Eenie and Meanie aren't just bottomless pits, they also possess a wicked intellect. They communicate telepathically with Maggot and, interestingly enough, are highly attuned to magic. These are slugs with a sixth sense. In addition to this, Maggot once showed off his psychometric prowess, allowing him to delve into the past events of his immediate surroundings. It's a handy power for gathering intel or uncovering secrets, don't you think? Glob Herman. Glob Herman, or as he calls himself, the Inhuman Torch. This pink-hued fellow popping up in the background of your favorite comics is a mutant with a unique and flammable twist. Our story begins with a family dynamic straight out of a mutant soap opera. Glob grew up in a household where his father despised mutants, while his mother, bless her heart, supported the family. But when Glob's powers manifested, his father's anger found a new target, the poor kid with a transparent, wax-like body. His mother decided she had had enough of the toxicity and whisked Glob away to Winchester. The timing couldn't have been better, as Professor X had just publicly revealed himself as a mutant. Now, imagine leaving your child in the care of mutants after being raised to hate them. Initially, Glob despised his new surroundings. Surrounded by mutants he was taught to hate and fear, he felt like a fish out of water, but he soon realized that this was where he truly belonged. Fueled by his deep-rooted hatred towards humans and the pain his father inflicted upon him, he found himself joining forces with the Omega Gang. Led by the rebellious Kid Omega, they took matters into their own hands, fighting for mutant rights. He was detained for his actions, and after his release, he worked with the X-Men. Let's talk about Glob's unusual powers. His body is transparent, exposing his skeleton, and it's composed of a bioparaffin, a living wax. And guess what? This wax is highly flammable. That's right, he can actually light himself on fire. As if that weren't enough, he can also fling bits of himself around. But that's not all. Glob also possesses superhuman strength, durability, and speed. His unique bioparaffin composition renders him more resilient to damage than your average human. How tough is he? Well, he once shrugged off a bomb explosion at the Xavier Institute without a scratch. Marrow. Sarah, a mutant with immense powers and a troubled past, was once a part of the underground dwelling Morlocks. Tragedy struck when the Marauders slaughtered the Morlocks, but Sarah was saved by Gambit. Later, it was revealed that she and the other Morlocks perished at the hands of Mikhail Rasputin, but they were actually transported to another dimension. In this dimension, Mikhail established a society governed by the principle of survival of the fittest. Climbing a dangerous hill became the test of worthiness, leading to the formation of Gene Nation, a group driven by the vengeance against mutant-hating humans. Sarah, guided by Callisto, climbed the hill and joined Gene Nation, but their mission turned into terrorism. Talking about her powers, Sarah's abilities are as bone-chilling as they come. Thanks to her hyper-accelerated metabolism, she possesses unique control over her bone structure. Initially, her bones would uncontrollably protrude from her skin, causing her great pain. Creepy, right? But over time, with enhancements from Skrull medical facilities and later the Weapon X program, she learned to harness this power to her advantage. Sarah's body generates bony projections that she uses as weapons, shields, or even armor. She can mold her bones into knuckle guards, spears, blades, tendrils, claws, or anything she wants. With increased control and enhancements, her bone constructs become more refined and versatile. She turned her own body into a deadly arsenal, but that isn't all. Sarah's bones possess incredible durability, allowing her to withstand heavy blows without significant damage. She can take hits that would leave others broken or lifeless, and she also possesses a healing factor which allows her to recover from self-inflicted wounds as she removes and regrows bones. It's a gruesome process, but it keeps her fighting. Alongside her bone-based abilities, Sarah possesses enhanced strength, agility, and reflexes. She even brags about her dual hearts, a peculiar adaptation to compensate for her erratic bone growth. In one instance, where one of her hearts was removed, she was able to survive the attack effortlessly. Talk about resilient. From her humble beginnings among the Morlocks to her involvement with Gene Nation, Sarah's journey is one of survival and transformation. Chamber. Jonathan Evan Starsmore was a mutant with a fiery secret lurking within his chest. Hailing from London, Jonathan possessed a unique power, a furnace of psionic energy that resided in his very core. But this power came at a great cost. Jonathan's mutant abilities first manifested in an explosion that left his chest and lower face devastated. From that moment on, Jonathan could no longer speak in the conventional sense, communicating solely through telepathy. Shortly after the incident, Jonathan received an invitation to join Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, an opportunity he accepted. This journey was filled with ups and downs. Romantic entanglements also complicated Jonathan's life. He entered into a chaotic relationship with Husk, but their connection was marked by strain and constant breakups. As a mutant, his physical body served as a mere shell for his true essence, a being composed of pure psionic energy. The initial eruption of his powers wiped out his internal organs, leaving a hole in his chest and face. Imagine moving around with a hole in your body. Remarkably, he no longer required food, drink, or even air, though his blood still coursed through his extremities. Jonathan possessed the ability to manipulate this psionic energy, releasing it in the form of volatile charges. His chest became a ditch for devastating blasts, guided streams that could be target-specific, or even massive eruptions in all directions. The power within him burned like a biokinetic flame. Additionally, Jonathan developed telepathic abilities, relying on this as a means of communication due to his disfiguration. While he couldn't probe others' thoughts, extensive training allowed him to listen to the thoughts of those who intended to connect with him. From the tragic accident that scarred him to his journey as a member of Generation X, his story is one of resilience, sacrifice, and the fiery power that dwells within. Freakshow! Freakshow, an animal-shifting mutant, was a survivor from the devastated island of Genosha. In the aftermath of the Sentinel attacks on Hammer Bay, Freakshow found himself as the unlikely companion of Wicked, another mutant who had endured the tragedy. To his surprise, he became an unofficial pupil of the renowned Professor X. Freakshow quickly proved his worth when he intervened in a skirmish between the professor and a local bully named Unis the Untouchable. Knowing that physical harm was ineffective against Unis due to his force field, Professor X devised a unique solution. He instructed Freakshow to transform and swallow Unis as a whole, an action that left the bully unharmed but undoubtedly shaken. Later, Freakshow vomited up Unis, bringing an end to the conflict. As they worked to rebuild Genosha, Freakshow's abilities came in handy. He assumed a worm-like form, consuming the debris of the shattered buildings and transforming it into fertile land. His power to digest and repurpose the wreckage proved invaluable in the reconstruction efforts. But that wasn't all. Originally, his shape-shifting capabilities were limited to transforming into mythical creatures such as swamp blobs, medieval trolls, and dragons. However, after his exposure to and subsequent removal of the Terrigen mist, his powers expanded greatly. In terms of equipment, Freakshow faced an interesting challenge. Whenever he transformed, his clothing would be destroyed. To address this issue, he was provided with a tight-fitting suit made of maniates. This unique garment seamlessly disappeared and reappeared along with his transformations, ensuring he was always appropriately attired. Freakshow's journey from a survivor of Genosha to a vital asset in rebuilding the island showcases his remarkable abilities and adaptability. With his animal-shifting powers, he creeps the hell out of anyone who encounters his monstrous forms. Skin. Angelo Espinosa, aka Skin from East LA, embarked on a journey of self-discovery and survival as a mutant. Angelo tried to fake his death as he sought to protect his friend Torres from being falsely accused of murder, hide his newly manifested mutation from his family, and leave behind the troubled life he once knew. Angelo's transformation began when he and 3 other young mutants, M, Husk, and Blink, were abducted by the techno-organic alien race known as the Phalanx. With the help of some other mutants, the group escaped. However, Blink made the ultimate sacrifice using her powers to destroy the Phalanx that had captured them. Following their escape, Angelo enrolled in the Massachusetts Academy, owned by none other than Emma Frost. Becoming a member of Generation X, Angelo formed close bonds with his fellow mutants. He connected deeply with Chamber, as both shared the experience of not being able to pass for normal humans in public. Skin had approximately 6 extra feet of skin that granted him incredible elasticity. He could stretch, deform, wrap, expand, and compress this additional epidermis. When relaxed, his appearance resembled that of a melted candle. How disgusting is that? But don't worry, with concentration he could contract the extra skin to resemble his previous form, or even grow spikes. This elasticity also provided him with a certain degree of physical resistance, making him less vulnerable to injury. Bailey Hoskins. Bailey Hoskins, aka the worst X-Man ever, made his appearance in the 5-part comic story created by Max Bemis and Michael Walsh. Bailey's character is a parody, existing outside of the Marvel continuity, and he possesses the worst mutant power ever. Unlike other mutants who are offered a place at Xavier's school, Bailey's parents inform him of his mutant heritage. Excited about having powers, Bailey envisions becoming an X-Man and fighting villains. Bailey's excitement turns to disappointment when he learns that his power is the ability to explode on command, resulting in his own death. This makes him the worst X-Man ever. Bailey's life takes a tragic turn when his parents are killed by a Sentinel. Despite receiving a suit of armor from Forge to contribute to battles, Bailey struggles to fit in with the X-Men and their extraordinary abilities. Bailey's social awkwardness and inability to kill without mercy create conflicts within the various X teams. He joins X-Force, X-Factor, and Beta Flight, but fails to find his place due to his unique power. Magneto and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants become interested in Bailey's explosive ability and target Professor Xavier. Bailey's encounter with a fellow student, Riches, leads to Xavier's demise and the disbandment of the X-Men. In a final act of defiance, Bailey detonates himself, killing Riches and destroying the building where the gala is held. Bailey's story emphasizes his struggles to fit in and find a purpose as the worst X-Man ever. Persephone. Persephone, the mutant leader of Sotira, is surrounded by mystery and is known for harnessing immense powers. She rigorously gathered strength and influence through her organization, Sotira. Sotira possesses a wide and influential reach, far more extensive than anyone had previously realized. It's infiltrated major organizations within the Marvel Universe, including Roxxon, AIM, Hydra, and even the Latverian government. The scale and depth of Sotira's influence became increasingly apparent, and it becomes clear that Persephone is the driving force behind it all. In a bold statement, she declares, "It's all Sotira, and Sotira is me." This revelation showcases her immense power and control over the organization. What sets her apart is her ability to locate mutants even before they've manifested their powers, surpassing the capabilities of even Cerebro, the renowned mutant detecting device. The true motives behind Persephone's actions remain shrouded in mystery. Why does she seek to eliminate mutants? She even orchestrated the theft of Wolverine's body and somehow resurrected him to carry out unspeakable acts, the reasons behind which remain unknown. Armed with the power to manipulate minds, Persephone once attempted to deter Wolverine. Her abilities set her apart from other mutants. She wields the power of necromancy, capable of resurrecting the deceased either in their full form or as eerie zombies. But her influence extends beyond mere revival. She possesses the ability to mentally control and direct the actions of those she resurrects. These extraordinary powers grant her an edge, evoking both awe and unease. In addition to her necromantic abilities, Persephone possesses a chilling mutation that allows her to decay anything she touches. This unearthly power, particularly when applied to living beings, radiates an unsettling aura that can send shivers down the spines of even the bravest. Leech. Meet Leech, the not-so-visually creepy mutant with an unsettling power to nullify the abilities of other mutants. In the vast Marvel Comics universe, Leech makes his debut as a member of the Morlocks, a group of mutants living in the depths of Manhattan's sewers due to their physical deformities. With his distinctive green skin, Leech was abandoned by his parents when his mutations became apparent, leaving him to face a cruel fate. Fortunately, he was discovered by Caliban, a fellow Morlock, and taken in by Anna Lee, a mutant woman who raised him alongside other young mutant orphans. In this newfound family, Leech formed a deep bond with Artie Maddox, a ward of the X-Factor team, and had a few encounters with the X-Men themselves. Tragedy strikes during the mutant massacre when Mr. Sinister sends his marauders to slaughter the Morlocks. Leech and Caliban manage to escape and are rescued by Power Pack and X-Factor's X-Terminators. They find temporary refuge with X-Factor and later enroll in the mutant-friendly St. Simon's School. However, they are captured by mutant hunting demons, and with the help of their friend Taki Matsuya and the X-Terminators, they battle against the demonic threat. Back at St. Simon's, they uncover a plot against mutants by hateful humans and embark on a dangerous mission to stop it. Along the way, they meet Ida Fassbender, who becomes like family to them. They are then kidnapped by Gene Nation, but are saved by Generation X and become junior members. Now, let's talk about Leech's power, a power that can truly unsettle his fellow mutants. Leech possesses the ability to dampen or suppress the powers and abilities of any superpowered beings within a 50-foot radius. Initially, this ability was involuntary and uncontrollable, but over time, Leech gained conscious control over his power. He can selectively activate his dampening field, ensuring that individuals are unaffected unless they come into physical contact with him. Leech can dampen not only mutant powers, but also abilities that originate from non-mutant sources. From the Fantastic Four to the Avengers Academy's Hazmat, Leech's power knows no bounds. For instance, during the Mutant Massacre crossover event, he nullified the powers of Power Pack, a team whose abilities were bestowed upon them by extraterrestrial forces. Interestingly, Leech has also demonstrated a surprising display of telekinesis in X-Men the Animated Series, manipulating objects and even moving humans out of his way as he navigates through crowded spaces. It's worth mentioning that when Leech targets mutants with super strength, his victims can temporarily experience a drastic decrease in physical power, becoming frail and weakened. Leech, the young mutant with a power that can make even the mightiest superheroes feel vulnerable. His ability to neutralize the powers of others adds an unsettling dynamic to his character and the world of mutants. Ugly John. Ugly John, the mutant from Australia with an unusual and let's just say visually unique ability. Born in the land down under, Ugly John faced a life filled with hardship and danger. He was hunted relentlessly, with his distinct appearance making him a target for those who feared and misunderstood mutants. But fate had a different plan in store for Ugly John when he encountered two legendary X-Men, Wolverine and Cyclops. They crossed paths with Ugly John while he was being pursued by a Sentinel, one of those towering mutant hunting robots. Displaying their heroic nature, the X-Men sprang into action, saving Ugly John from certain doom. Recognizing his potential and wanting to protect them, they made the decision to bring him back to their headquarters in Westchester. What happened next is a long story, but rest assured, our heroes saved Ugly John. Now, let's talk about Ugly John's unique and, well, somewhat unsettling power. Unlike other mutants with extraordinary abilities, Ugly John's mutation manifested in his appearance. He had not one, not two, but three faces side by side. Yes, you heard that right, three faces. This distinct feature certainly sets him apart from the crowd and might evoke a mixed reaction from those who encounter him. While some may find his three-faced appearance intriguing, others find it a bit, let's say, creepy. But hey, in the world of mutants, diversity reigns supreme, and Ugly John's unusual trait is just another reminder of the fascinating and often unexpected nature of mutant abilities. Scrambler. Scrambler is a mutant with the ability to disrupt and scramble the powers and functionality of anyone or anything he touches. Known as a member of the notorious Marauders, a band of deadly assassins assembled by none other than Mr. Sinister, Scrambler's story is filled with twists and turns. Under Sinister's orders, the Marauders unleashed devastation on the Morlocks. They were repeatedly defeated, but Sinister's cloning abilities ensured their return. Scrambler, a member of the Marauders, faced off against Nate Gray and met his demise. However, he was later cloned by Sinister and retained his powers even after M-Day. Scrambler resurfaced as part of the new Marauders and had a fateful encounter with X-23, seemingly meeting his end. But he somehow survived and found himself enslaved by the Goblin Queen. Greycrow and the Hellions eventually freed him, leading to another confrontation and Scrambler's final fall. Scrambler possesses the power to manipulate the functionality of systems and objects, enhancing or impairing their effectiveness. With a touch, he can disrupt the functioning of living beings, machines, and energy fields, inducing paralysis, unconsciousness, or even death. His power operates on a unique time ratio, with 1 minute of effect for every second activated. The mere thought of experiencing Scrambler's touch can send chills down your spine. Beak. Beak is a mutant who underwent a profound transformation during puberty, resulting in a humanoid avian hybrid form similar to flightless birds. However, the events of M-Day stripped him of his mutant abilities, causing his body to revert back to its human form. Barnell Bohusk, hailing from the Netherlands, experienced great difficulty in accepting his mutation. The physical aspects of his transformation left him feeling alienated and shunned by his peers, who cruelly dubbed him Beak. Seeking solace and acceptance, Barnell made his way to Xavier's Institute, hoping to find a community of mutants who would embrace him. Unfortunately, his expectations were shattered as he discovered that even amongst mutants he was considered an outcast. In the midst of his struggles, Beak found refuge in a special class led by Zor, where he encountered other marginalized mutants who shared similar experiences. This newfound group provided some comfort and a sense of belonging in an otherwise unforgiving world. Before his time at Xavier's Institute, Beak had a challenging existence, hiding in the shadows of back alleys in Rotterdam. Ostracized by society due to his appearance, he had been living on the streets since running away from home. The opportunity to join the Institute offered him a glimmer of hope and the chance to forge meaningful connections. It was during his time there that Beak developed deep and lasting relationships, most notably with his fellow mutant Angel Salvador, with whom he formed a family. In terms of his abilities, Beak possessed a bird-like mutation that granted him feathered wings, allowing for limited flight. His hybrid form also provided enhanced durability, agility, and strength. His physical attributes included a beaked nose, talons, and possibly hallowed bones, further solidifying his avian resemblance. However, after losing his mutant powers, Beak adopted the mantle of Blackwing and began using a powered suit. This suit granted him the ability to fly, enhanced strength, the capacity for energy blasts, and a degree of enhanced protection. Despite his physical appearance and the challenges he faced, Beak's true worth lay in his capacity for friendship, his commitment, and the ability to rise above adversity. Conclusion. In the vast Marvel universe, there are mutants whose powers defy explanation and leave us in awe. Yet among them, there are those whose abilities may disgust or creep us out. These 12 mutants, with their absurd powers, push the boundaries of what we find normal or appealing. From Bailey Hoskins, the unfortunate human bomb, to the three-faced Ugly John and the power-negating Leech, their abilities are peculiar, unsettling, and sometimes downright grotesque. These mutants remind us that not all powers are glamorous, but they add a unique and intriguing flavor to the world of comics, captivating and shocking us in equal measure. That's all for today, but if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.